This is the iPhone 14 Pro Max in purple. I know I'm late and I seem to have missed the whole invite to Cupertino this year. I wonder why. Can't really put my finger on it. I'm Alex and I do down-to-earth tech videos. Given you've already seen so many people take this thing out of a box, let's just go out there and use the phone, take some photos outside, do some work on it, make some phone calls, right? Watch some content, you know, do stuff that people do with their phones. It's a lovely early autumn here in the UK, so why not? Plus I asked you, and it looks like the majority of you want me to skip straight into the review. You'll be pleased to know though that it came in a box and looks exactly the same as every other box you've seen. And I will get back to the full review as well, don't worry. And before we go out actually, I'll get back to this later in the video, but there's some context later on that I think it's important that you watch, especially if you haven't watched my previous videos. Alright, this footage now is on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. There's a lot of apps still downloading, but we're ready to go. One thing I just noticed is on 4K 24, the video, the viewfinder looks a little bit choppy. 4K 30 and 60 looks better, but 4K 24, which is supposed to be this new mode that is more cinematic, I don't know, the viewfinder looks a bit choppy. It reminds me of the S21 Ultra 8K mode. Hopefully the end result is good. I guess we'll find out. Let's get in the car. Remember when I said it was a beautiful day? Things have changed. It looks like we might be testing the IP rating on this phone. I mean, it's really bad. So 2x, 3x. These flagship smartphones in general are amazing cameras now. For a lot of people, it's actually what they go for before they buy a phone. They buy a camera first and a phone second. And for many people, this iPhone is actually more than they will ever need. And looking at these photos and videos that I just took today, you can kind of see how incredible smartphones are getting. Some of the footage that I recorded earlier, I wasn't really sure when I was recording, as you're gonna see here. After watching it back, the quality of the video has gone considerably higher now, particularly in 4K 24 frames per second. Out of all the new features of the iPhone, this is one that actually caught my eye. Right, let's have a little chat. So it looks awesome in outdoors. I mean, I hope you can appreciate the colors here, even though it's an overcast day. I mean, I think it's an elegant color. I had the iPad Air 5 in purple, and that was a disappointment because it was very, almost like gray. This is purple. With all this technology in my hand, still using Post-it notes. When it comes to the camera, we can't take that away from Apple, right? They always do a really good job. For me as a 13 Pro Max user, I'm seeing very, very minor improvement. It comes down to the law of diminishing returns, right? When you get to a certain level, every improvement will feel very minor. I'm not sure I'm gonna get much action here, but maybe I'll try and run after my dog in a minute. All the modes are nice. I do like that Apple added a new mode here and is making the camera a little bit more fun. Cinematic mode's still there, of course, and feels better actually. It feels a bit more responsive. I just spotted an issue. It thinks that the gap is part of the object, so it doesn't realize that that's the background as well. Artificial intelligence can't really be a proper lens. Not yet anyway. Choki. So we left the house with about 97%, if not 98%, I'll check later, but we're already down to 81 and it's only been a couple of hours. I just realized my 13 Pro Max is connected to it via hotspot and I am getting now 2 bars of 4G. So it's not the best, but in this place, it's actually not bad. By the way, by now you've seen some people comparing the 13 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max. And I don't know about you, but when I see those photos, I'm like, I don't see what's the difference here, right? So again, I'm gonna spare you of that. I'm not gonna do that here. Now, the new display on the iPhone is something that I was really curious about because with 2000 nits of peak brightness, this is essentially now up there at the very top in terms of performance. I will be comparing this with the S22 Ultra, which I've got here, but check this out. Another thing that I was really impressed with is the sound quality. The 13 Pro Max, to be fair, was already really good, right? But it is one of the very few things that I found is actually noticeable between the two. Gonna try and FaceTime a mate of mine, see if he picks up first of all. I do have other friends.
Welcome to the EE voicemail.
Hello mate.
Hey, you alright?
I am really good. You are now on Dynamic Island on the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Say hello to YouTube. This video is gonna get like 200 views, so.
Within like half an hour.
Only if I shit on Apple. If I don't, then no one watches it. Alright mate, thanks. I'm so glad I remembered to do this. One thing we as tech reviewers always forget to do with these smartphones, we get so like, oh my god, a shiny toy. We actually forget to use the phone and do like more than just gaming and watching content, right? Can you make a phone call? Believe it or not, I know there's a lot of people still today that have issues with coverage. So, testing the antenna quality, the call quality is actually quite important. As I said there, it's early days, but it sounded pretty decent and it didn't break up. I was having a really nice chat there for 4 minutes with good quality audio, no issues at all. Also, I couldn't record this because it was work, but I had a Teams meeting as well in between, which was flawless as well. The Teams meeting was just audio. I didn't test it front-facing camera, but I will do that in a later review. The battery today took a massive beating though, downloading all my apps, kind of restoring from backup. So it didn't make it through the day. But I'm not gonna do the whole hysterical, oh my God, the iPhone 14 battery is crap. It was really busy as soon as I got it out of the box trying to get this video out. I had the display brightness set to full whack today, so it needs a bit more time. And like I do every year, I will cover the battery usage in a lot more detail. I'm gonna look really silly now running after my dog.
Come on. 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 Come on.
The things I do for you. Shall we talk about Dynamic Island for a bit? I'll keep it very brief, right? It's a gimmick. As predicted, Apple did what they do best, right? Which is marketing. They did an amazing job at marketing this. But honestly, if you were on the fence and this feature is the one that's making you kind of want this phone, I'd think again. I just noticed that in bright daylight, when you look at the Fantasy Island, Monkey Island, you can see different layers of it as well. It's not just a black bar like we see in the adverts. It looks a bit messy. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but too much going on. Like I said there, this is probably just a motorbike. Like I said there, this is probably just one of those things that people get used to. Personally, I'd rather not have anything on the screen. Which reminds me, YouTube is really hard. And it can be really tricky with so many big channels out there polluting your home screen for a small channel like this one to be noticed. So if you're enjoying this video so far, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. It will go a long way. And if you like my stuff in general, a sub to the channel would be amazing. The benefit to you is that I'll be here at least once a week with a new down-to-earth tech video again. By the way, as well as the 14 Pro Max here, I ordered the 14 Plus and I have ordered the Watch Ultra because, the dog walks here are really treacherous. Plus, I have other flagships as well that you can expect lots of comparisons between them, the ecosystems between Android and iOS. I'm really excited for it. Right, as I mentioned earlier in this video, there's some context here so you know where I'm coming from. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I've been using the iPhone 13 Pro Max, but this year I've been trying different devices as well. The Galaxy S22 Ultra, the Google Pixel 6 Pro, and more recently, for me, the most user-friendly device out there, the Fold 4. I'll do a separate video comparing those devices more objectively, but this is just to give you a bit of context where I'm coming from. Anyway, the iPhone 14 Pro Max looks awesome. For longer periods of time of usage, this iPhone is going to be the same as the 13 Pro Max. It's going to dig into your hand and it's not going to be the most comfortable phone out there, but it does look great, especially outdoors. I do like to rock it naked every now and then, but I'm way too clumsy, so I need a case like straight away. Which brings me to today's sponsors, CASETiFY. CASETiFY have incredible designs and are always a great protective choice. I've been reviewing them for a long while now. For the iPhone 14 range, CASETiFY now have a new proprietary shock absorbing tech called EcoShock. And get this, they managed to improve their drop protection, which was already incredible. I drop tested CASETiFY cases with the 12 Pro Max, the 13 Pro Max, and believe it or not, I chucked my phone, I think it was a 12 Pro Max at the time, out of a moving car with the CASETiFY cases, and it survived perfectly. This new EcoShock features their twister design, which helps even out the tension distribution and disperse the impacts more effectively. I'm aware I'm starting to sound very geeky right now, but this is what gives us that extra drop protection. Actually, I just remembered something. Let's spicy things up here. Let's do this next bit whilst testing the iPhone 14 Pro Max speech-to-text recognition, because it used to be pants. The drop protection is now 5 times the military standard, which means it's been drop tested over 130 times to make sure EcoShock doesn't wear off. Not only that, CASETiFY cases are made of 65% plant-based materials. They're super light and come with antimicrobial coating, getting rid of 99% of bacteria. Pixel got EcoShock right, which is incredible. I mean, how does he know? The iPhone thinks it's EcoShark. Let me know what you thought of that. So yes, CASETiFY are constantly adding new designs, new artist collaborations, which is really cool. As a viewer of this channel, you get a special 15% discount too, which is fantastic. Their website is super easy to use, and here's where CASETiFY really shines for me, right? You can customize your case on the fly, you can see what it will look like on the phone with your own style applied to it like straight away. So grab yours today from casetify.com/AlexG to get that 15% off. Back to the iPhone 14 and my first impressions here today after using it pretty much all day until it died. It has been a fun day, considering my low expectations, considering what I said before about the iPhone, because it is the same shit. Cut that bit off. I think the highlight for me was action mode, actually. I tried it expecting it to be another gimmick, and I'm not gonna lie, this actually was fun to do, you know, and you can see it right here that it's like I'm using a low-flying drone. You know, I was running at full tilt, well, within reason, I'm in my 40s. I avoided all of the initial videos anyway from the big YouTubers because I wanted to give you my genuine reaction here. So I'm sorry if I got lots of stuff wrong, maybe the technical bits wrong, or maybe I was doing something stupid here, but I was going around it using the iPhone like you would, you know, just using it normally. I'll be honest with you, because I've had the 13 Pro Max and the 12 Pro Max and the 11 Pro Max before that, I do have to be aware of my kind of low expectations, and I appreciate that you may be coming from an older iPhone, or maybe this is your first iPhone, in which case I'm actually jealous of you because these are incredible pieces of technology. Having said that, I'm really not going to pretend to be super excited here because that would be disingenuous, and that's not what this channel is about. Yes, I'm really enjoying some of the new camera features. I think it's an area that Apple had been lacking recently, which is they've had excellent quality of videos and photos, but it wasn't much fun to use. It was very samey. So yeah, I have to respect you and appreciate that this is a huge investment as well for anyone, which is why I like to point out not just the positives, but also the flaws, because I know that some of the bigger channels out there, they're not gonna do that, right? They're gonna be, oh my God, it's an amazing phone. There are flaws and there are things that could be better. For example, why the hell are we still using Lightning? YouTube thinks you're gonna like this video over here. Eesh, that's bright. And I also put this playlist together that I think you're gonna like. Don't forget to click on my face somewhere here on the screen. Bye. What do you think of the iPhone? Hey, did you like it? No? No more questions, Your Honor.